Lozano is coming, my guy. Park the bus. It's foot champs, so park the bus. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, One Star Weakfoot. We're back for another episode of the Pay to Elite series, and in this episode, we're gonna talk about a new formation I've been rocking with this weekend league. A new formation I don't see very often at all, and it's the 4-3-3. We're going to go over the pros of the formation. We're going to go over the cons of the formation. We're going to talk about different players you can use in each position and everything in between. But before I go any further, before we go to the next part of this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying this content. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate all of your support. And I got to say thank you to everybody that's watching my video right now and that's watched any of my videos in the past. I'm at the loss of words for like all the support I've gotten lately, and I really do appreciate it. All right, so as you guys know, I started this weekend league off and I was 7-5. I mean, the Friday gameplay was just absolutely horrible, but this formation helped me really bounce back, and pretty much I ended up going 13-1. I ended up at 20-6, and I ended up with my first chance to ever go for elite. You'll find out at the end of the video if I hit elite or if I didn't. Let's jump into these custom tactics real quick. So, we're going to pressure on heavy touch. We got 5 width and 3 depth on the defense. This is not a defensive or like drop back formation at all. That's not what I'm trying to go for. I just go 3 depth so you don't get attacked on the counter attack too hard. Offensively, we're going to go for possession mentality. That's the biggest thing that I feel like makes this formation so powerful. I'll explain why later. The 5 width is what we're going for because it's already a pretty wide formation. We got 4 players in the box. It really makes sense to not overcommit since you're already doing possession mentality. And for corners and free kicks, it's pretty standard, 3 bars each. So, this is the team I rocked with. I got Stoichkov and Rashford on the wings, Aubameyang as striker. We have Socrates, Mounier, and Ballack as our midfield, and the defense is as you see right there. The instructions are very basic. I don't do anything too crazy. I put get in behind for the front 3. My midfield, I'm just putting cover center on the CMs, and the CDM is going to be stay back while attacking and cover wing. I didn't really do that on purpose, but it did work for me. My fullbacks are going to be on stay back while attacking and overlap. And my center backs are pretty much on default. Let's jump into some weekend league gameplay and I'll explain the pros, the cons, and everything in between about this formation. Let's go. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the different players you need to be using in each position for this formation to work. So for striker, you want somebody that's pretty much well-rounded. I used Aubameyang. You want someone who is a decent aerial threat, someone who has at least 80 pace, and someone who has decent passing because he will drop in the midfield at times and be involved in build-up play because of the possession tactics. You do need at least some pace because you do set him to get in behind and he will make runs from time to time. Ideal players here are Aubameyang, Ronaldo, Prime Raul. Cheaper players you can use, however, are Lewandowski, 86 for Richarlison, and not informed Luis Suarez. So on the wing, the wingers might be some of the most important players in this formation. You want someone with a lot of pace because they will be your main outlets to keep the opposition honest if they decide to press you. The most important stats aside from pace are dribbling pretty much because they're the most isolated players in this formation. They will need to be able to dribble themselves out of certain situations until help arrives, if you'd like to keep possession. So I prefer nimble players rather than big physical players in this position. I do not really care about the far post headers for this specific formation. That's not what this formation is for. The ideal players I like in this position are going to be 94 best, 88 Rashford, somebody like Neymar, Mbappe, 88 Felipe Anderson, someone of that caliber. More affordable players you can use are 87 Promes, 86 Ousmane Dembele, or 87 Nicolas Pepe. Midfield. Alright, so the midfield is going to be very important as well. You want one attacking CM who's more attacking but can also put in a challenge. I use Socrates because he's big, he's physical, he does get decent tackles in. Other players you can use here are Perisic, Bale, De Bruyne, Firmino, something like that. They're going to help balance your midfield offensively while still helping to put in the shift defensively when they're on the other end of the pitch. You want one true box-to-box CM as the other CM. Somebody like Foot Birthday Munier, who's pretty much who I used. You want somebody with high work rates, ideally. So ideally, you'd want somebody like Informed Goretzka, somebody like Flashback Vidal, 84 Delaney, 9 Golan, somebody who can do everything at a high level and has at least 78 defending. Your CDM is going to be your cleanup guy. He's going to be sweeping the midfield, cleaning up the messes that you leave in behind. So you want somebody with medium-high work rates. Ideally, you'd want somebody like Prime Balak, who I used. Other players you can use, though, are Casemiro, Conte, SBC Allen, Vieira. There's a lot of different options you can use, and it really depends on whether you like big, bulky CDMs or smaller pitbull types. On your fullbacks, nothing really special. You want to use who you're comfortable with. One thing you do want is good passing because they're going to be involved in build-up play. It is a possession tactic, and you want somebody like Telles, Alaba, Marcelo, ideally to help you with the build-up play. Center backs, once again, nothing special there. Whatever center backs you enjoy using, you should really use. Ideally, again, you'd want ball-playing center backs, but it's not 100% a necessity. So first, I'm going to go over the pros of this formation. Number one, it's very well balanced. It has 3 midfielders so you don't get overcrowded in the midfield by very narrow formations. It has the width via the wingers who are making runs in behind the defense. Because of your possession tactic, you end up having players in the middle of the pitch making themselves available for a pass, but your wingers will be running in behind at the same time, keeping the defensive line honest. There is no one play style you will necessarily need to adhere to. You can really use this formation to read your opponent's defense and really just take what they give you. The next pro that you have is that you can control the tempo of the game very easily. You have your team playing possession, so you will have 3 midfielders and your striker dropping back occasionally ready for a pass in the middle of the pitch. It is easy to hold possession in the midfield, and it works well against a 4-2-3-1 because you will outnumber their midfield. If your opponent decides to pressure, you do have the bonus of having the wingers to keep them honest, and you will be utilizing their runs in behind to really just keep them honest if they decide to overcommit their players in the midfield. If your opponent decides to park the bus, you can hold possession in the midfield until your opponent gets frustrated, has to pull players out of position, and then that's when you strike. The next pro that I like about this formation is that it's great for creative build-up play. You can utilize both dribbling or passing to poke holes in your opponent's defense. This is because you have players close together in the midfield, which is ideal for 1-2 passing, as well as having wingers far ahead of these midfielders so they can really do the dribbling and everything like that. Most formations, you have to pick one. It's either they're compact like the 4-1-2-2, or they're wide, meaning that you'll have to use long passes and dribbling to build your attacks. This formation has a mix of both, and I really enjoy that. The last pro that I enjoy about this formation is that it's balanced defensively. It only has 1 CDM, but it does have 2 CMs, which help the CDM. If your opponents decide to attack you in wide areas, you can manually drag your wingers back to really help out with that part of the pitch. There is no real formation that can exploit this formation, in my opinion. I did well against 4-1-2-1-2s, 4-4-2s, and 4-2-3-1s all weekend. Keep in mind that holding possession is also a good form of defense, and with this formation and with these tactics, you will be holding possession. Alright, so unfortunately, we do gotta talk about the cons of this formation. No matter how much I'm a fan of it, it does have cons. Alright, number one is that it does not suit fast build-up play well. Alright, so even though it can be used for quick build-up at times, I find with this formation when you get frustrated and you start overusing quick passes, you get very predictable, and it really just defeats the purpose of having this formation. The key to making this formation work is using a lot of patient build-up play, passing backwards, sideways, in order to retain and recycle possession. Because of the way the formation is set up, there is usually one person open for a pass, even if it is a fullback, so there is no need to rush your play and make unnecessarily risky passes. The second con we have here is that it's not ideal for chasing a lead because your build-up play is going to be patient. If you find that you go down 2-0 or 2 goals and there is not much time remaining, you should probably switch formations. When you're in a race against time, you won't be able to use the principles of this formation effectively, and you're better served using a formation that supports fast build-up play like a narrow 4-3-1-2 or a 4-2-2 with attacking tactics. The last con I'm gonna really discuss here is that it doesn't have a cam. Many people are used to building up with a cam and having one player as the focal point of the build-up play. This formation is a true team game. This means that every single player is involved in build-up play. You are trying to poke holes in your opponent's defense and pounce on them the moment you see them. You're not trying to overutilize any one player, and if your playstyle really relies on doing something like that, then this is probably not your formation. So what would I rate this formation? I would say it's an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 with these tactics. I still haven't found a major weakness to this formation. I really enjoyed using it in Weekend League. It led me to reaching 20-6, like I said, which is my best start in Weekend League ever. Unfortunately, I lost my next 2 games. The gameplay in New York, which is where I'm from, on Sunday night was absolutely dreadful. If you don't believe me, you could go on Run the Foot Market's video that he posted recently about this, and he had to rage quit his stream because he was suffering so much delay. And guess where he's from? He's also from New York. So the servers were not doing me any favors, and that's why I had to take a little bit of time to post this video. I tried to post a video like this right on the night that I was playing Foot Champs, and I was just too frustrated, too upset over it to really give you guys some good content about it. However, I really do enjoy this formation. The fact that it took me to 20-6 is really amazing, and I do feel like I can hit elite with this formation once I get more used to it, once I make a few more adjustments to it. So yeah, that's going to be my review on this 4-3-3 formation. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, I'll be back for another video tomorrow. But until then, later.